So welcome to your self-realization.
Where is that?
Right here, I got it. Just don't move
Right
it.
there?
There we go. I was like, just don't move it and we'll be okay. We'll start with our gratitude. Mother, Father God, we give gratitude and thank yous for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and through us wherever we are, so that only the highest and best will occur through our thoughts, words, and actions. And through those thoughts, words, and actions will lead us to a better understanding of our own self. So when we meet those on our path, we have a better understanding of them. We give thanks for this day. Amen. So welcome to your self-realization. And today we're going to be talking about chakras. So you were talking about auras, and it just goes right into chakras. So in a little nutshell, we were talking about the auric field, and we got into quite a good conversation on this last one, describing what we all felt and how colors mean something to us specifically. And when we go into start talking about chakras, we are taught, specific color. And some people get kind of, when they're learning the chakras or doing the chakras, some people don't feel comfortable with that color. They express, because we have, what I call govaki, all of our gustatory, olfactory, all the different senses. And so everyone has their own way of either seeing or feeling or being a color, that when someone tells you to be a certain color, it might not be what that is for you. And so I open the chakra experience for you to know that no matter what color they describe something to be, whatever envision you have in your imagination, your visual, let it be, and it opens up such a beautiful experience of what chakras are. So chakras, chakra in general is Sanskrit. It's a Sanskrit word that signifies a wheel. And in English, the wheel is wheel of fate. And in Buddhism, it means wheel of life and death. So the turning of the wheel of the law. And the wheels are like vortices, which exist in the surface of etheric double man. And the etheric double, invisible part of physical body, is linked with vitality of the body, and it keeps the body alive. And before I go any further, chakras never stop unless you stop. Unless you stop and you're gone, and the chakras, they exist, but they're existing elsewhere. wherever the body is, there's the chakra that exists. So no, when sometimes people say that, oh, my chakra, or someone will try to teach someone their chakra stopped, they're constantly going. So they may go slower, but they don't stop. So chakras, or force centers, are points of connection at which energy flows from one vehicle or body to another. So that's why we talked about auras, because it's a part. This is all existing all at the same time. One who is clairvoyant sees chakras as saucer-like depressions or vortices. And in a person who is undeveloped, so there's never a, younger soul or older soul, we're either developed in this life, or, we have something to learn. We're always developing, right? The chakras appear as small circles, usually when there's something that they need to learn. They may appear smaller, about 2 inches in diameter, that glow dully. So, if we're really working with them, they get bright and vibrant, but they're usually a little bit smaller or dull. In a person who is spiritually developed, the chakras to the chakras, they seem awakened, blazing, glittering whirlpools are much larger. And when people say, when you walk into the room, oh my gosh, that person was glowing, just think of those kinds of things as I'm, talking about chakras and how auric fields and chakras, people can actually sense or feel or imagine that energy. The chakras are like miniature suns, and the chakras are always spinning and open as long as one is breathing. The chakras correspond to certain organs and show themselves at surface of the etheric double that is just beyond the outline of the physical body. All chakras connect with the spine. So these are the chakra centers. The root or basic chakra is at the base of the spine. The spleen or splenic chakra is at the spleen left of the stomach. The navel or umbilical chakra is at the navel over the solar plexus. And the heart or cardiac chakra is over the heart. And the throat or, so I'm not really great at being a doctor, but laryngeal, I don't know how to
laryngeal.
Thank you. I can't do the, well, let me back up. Throw that away. I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning. That chakra is at the front of the throat, and the brow or frontal chakra is at the space between the eyebrows. And the crown or coronal chakra is at the top of the head. Here we go. And if you guys want to say something, say it. If I'm talking, just interrupt. All chakras wheels are perpetually rotating and move into the hub or open mouth of each, just as the force from the higher world is always flowing and rotating. This operation or movement is alive in all. In an undeveloped person, chakras are usually sluggish in motion, as I said. They just form the necessary vortex for life and no more. And in the more evolved person, the chakras are glowing, pulsating with living light, allowing greater amounts of energy to pass through them, which leads to psychic development. So chakras do not move in a straight line. Chakras move in a wave-like motion. And some chakras have multiple motions with smaller wavelengths within them. Chakras naturally divide into 3 groups. The lower, now hear this one out, psychological, subconscious. The middle, personal or conscious. And the higher, spiritual, superconscious. The first and second chakras are concerned with receiving into the body 2 forces which come into it and that physical level. On being the serpent fire from the earth and the other, the vitality from the sun. The centers of the middle group, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th chakras are engaged with the forces which reach one through the personality. The 6th and 7th chakras stand apart from the rest, being connected with pituitary and pineal gland. This is the higher group and is activated when a certain amount of spiritual development has taken place. This group movement is different in people and depends on their development. The chakra movement and its intermingling in all and helps each chakra to grow. The root chakra represents life and elimination. This first chakra is at the base of the spine and has a primary force that radiates out in 4 spokes. And the root chakra arranges its waves, so to give an effect of its being divided into quarters. The root chakra alternates in color. Okay, now I'm going to say a color, but just close your eyes because maybe it might not be that. Red to orange in hue with hollows between them. The quarters make it seem as though the chakra is marked with the sign of the cross, And the cross is the sign of the serpent fire. The fiery orange, red, is emanated as a type of vitality that is sent from splenic center. And if I said that
What
wrong.
does that mean with hollows between it?
Hollows. Let me go back to it.
That
Hold on.
first part of that sentence.
The quarters make it seem as though the chakra is marked with the sign of the cross. Let me back up. Hollows. Okay. Hollows. So the root chakra alternates in color from red to orange in hue with hollows between them. What does that mean to you?
It doesn't even make sense to me.
Hollows?
Hollow to me is
It sounds like to me like
emptiness.
holes or something, like a space between them is what I'm getting. I don't know. What does it mean to everybody else?
Certain amount of lightness, air,
Okay, yeah, that's
not
what
not dense, not dense.
Mhm.
To me, like if something is swirling, then it has space between. It has it's not a solid thing. It's a living thing that has space in between the light and colors.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's what it feels like to me. Yeah.
I envision like a ceiling fan when you see a ceiling fan and it circulates
Yeah.
and you see that little light that comes
I
in
was like-
between.
And it
That's
has
what I
hollows
thought.
in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, it isn't a continuum that goes from red to orange. It's like red and then less red and then less red and then, yeah.
I still think
Yeah.
that's a continuum though. I take that,
Pardon?
I take it that it still is a continuum there, Lady J, because it's always consistent, it never stops. So when it starts to change the color, like just thinking of the crayons, but they're still together. You know, like
Yeah,
the
well, like
rainbow
Casey said about the
space.
fan, I think that's a perfect. That
Yeah,
resonated. Does Reverend David have anything to say about it?
he's in spirit time.
Oh, okay.
He'll answer when he answers. Right there. I said, you'll answer when you answer. We were talking about the hollows between specific, like the root chakra. They alternate in color from red to orange in hue, and it says with hollows between them. And so Lady J was asking, what does the hollows mean? And I said, what does it mean to you? And then we kind of went around the group to see what that means. And we were just saying there's something like some kind of either air or space between them. Do you have an opinion or thought on that, David?
No.
Okay. Good. Did we kind of give enough information?
I think for me, I think that focusing on chakra energy is like an experience for each person. It's everybody's chakras like move to their personal rhythm.
Cool.
So it's not going to be exactly the same. And the hue of the color is not going to be exactly the same for each person because everybody has their own experience. And for my experience, I experience that every cell, every fiber of our being has all of the chakras in each cell of our being. So we can focus on these major centers, but we're so much more intricate than that, that we have all of those colors, all of those energies within every fiber of our being. So what one person experiences in color is going to be something different to the next person. And the way that that each person experiences, that energy is going to be different. The colors, the energy, the light of the chakra experience. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, I went and I got my chakras balanced, I feel great, which, okay, so somebody does something maybe with a pendulum or something, and says, okay, now your chakras are all balanced. But if your energy is still moving at the same rate, you're going to get right back into the same situation you were in before until changes are made. So using all of the mind powers and focusing on the mind powers and focusing on your different chakra centers and energy can help you to become more balanced in all ways, which balances your energy centers, if that makes sense.
Interesting when you're saying about going into, like, let's say Reiki for chakras and the pendulum, like you were saying, how okay, you're balanced, and you go, oh, I am balanced. It's a placebo, really, right?
Or it's just for
Yeah.
the moment, right? Until you
Yeah,
heal up all those patterns or all those things that we bring forward for our lessons, right? It's
yeah,
like a momentary, like what she said, it's like momentary.
exactly.
That's why we study self-realization. The more we self-realize, the more healthy all of our centers become. So, it's taking all of these little bits and pieces and then putting the whole picture together to become a more realized and healthy being.
Everything together. And
Mhm.
I know you're gonna say about, like, before you say it there, Lady J, because I already know she's going into the Reiki part of it, probably.
My Reiki does nothing with chakras.
Okay.
All I do is just put
And
energy in. I don't do the kind of Reiki where you do all sorts of other things. I just simply give a person energy and say, my spirit to thy spirit, do as I will, knowing their higher self knows what's best. No, what I was
Perfect.
wanting to speak to was the placebo effect. I have had my in healing touch and in therapeutic touch, both of them, they do your chakra healing or balancing, not
Yep.
healing, balancing. And I will tell you, as you're laying on the table, I felt a difference. Now, having said that, as soon as you get off the table, if you're not careful, it changes. But if it's a placebo effect, it's very definitely felt.
Sure,
So
There's no
they
doubt.
are doing something.
There is no doubt.
Their intent with their intention.
It is not a shame on anybody, or it's not working for anybody, because it is. However, is the human continuing on with their lessons and development and healing all of that, or are they just going to keep going back for their whatever it is,
To me, I kind of think of it like a dentist, right? You get your teeth cleaned and they're all pretty and shiny, and they're like, your teeth look great. And you go, thank you. And you walk out of that dentist office, and then you go and eat that candy bar, and you're not doing things to improve yourself. Yeah. So, like you said, it's all good. And like when I say placebo, I think I mean, like Lady J, I do really honestly feel the energy work being worked on. But I guess what I mean by the placebo effect is somebody says, okay, you're all better, even though you felt the work, and they tell you that. It's like a positive reinforcement for yourself. Like, and you go, yes, I am better. That's what I meant by placebo. If that makes sense. I'm a little jet lagged.
You can,
that's not my definition of placebo. My definition of placebo is if nothing happened and you think something.
oh, that's interesting because, okay, so that's a different definition.
I was going to
Because
say,
to me,
when you give a when you give a medication, which is a sugar pill, as a placebo, there's nothing there to change anything, but the person thinks there is a change.
And just know we have 6 minds right now. So everyone's going to think something different when they hear
Yeah.
placebo. We all go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It'll never be the same, which is interesting. You know, we can all experience something different.
Well, it's like the different kinds of Reiki. There's 50 people doing it. There's 50 ways to do it.
Totally.
I think
And
in
then there's
terms
also-
of placebo, sorry, I think in terms
no,
of
go ahead.
placebo, the body has very strong messages that even if it is a sugar pill, if they believe that it's going to do it, even though it hasn't actually done anything, because the body believes it will send out the signals and it will do that healing.
Absolutely.
And so the power of belief is tremendous, tremendous.
That's what I was just learning. For all that
Very
time,
good.
it's like the mind. It's such a, you know, unbelievable. You know, if we believe, it is. And
You know, and also,
it's always
um,
at the chapel, it's like everything was said that way. It's like, oh, I love this. You know,
when somebody receives Reiki healing or any other type of energy healing, a lot of times when they receive that healing, it just it lights up something within them that gives them new ideas for different ways to move forward in life. And so in that way, it sparks that healing to move forward that maybe might not have been awakened right at that moment had they not received that healing energy.
Okay. On that note, I've only gotten to the root chakra.
Yes, let's go
We got
back.
I only have a few more minutes to get through it.
I didn't mean to take us off track for 15 minutes
You
here.
We did it. It's all a group effort in this whole deal. And so everybody's opinion and thoughts about any of this is super valid. It's you're a human being with amazingness. So I wanted to say, so what can someone tell me what they've read about the root chakra, what it pertains to?
Safety and security.
Okay. Anyone else?
The practical things of life, just the everyday doing things and getting things done. I always kind of understood it it's a very practical chakra. You know, do you know how to do your finances? Can you run your life? You know, what's your everyday life like? I've always thought of it as the practical one, you know, getting more and more ethereal as you rise up to the top. So that's how I've thought about it.
Go ahead, Casey.
Like a tree. I mean, I'm looking at a tree right now, right? And you think of roots, and just like the nice lady said before, I'm sorry, I'm sleepy right now, but I'm looking at this tree, and you don't see the roots, but that's like the base. That's what the grounding. That's everything. And then, as she mentioned, the tree moves up from the roots, and that's where the growth. And then you have this etherealness on the top. So yeah, that's what I feel.
So, I think of family and, or ancestral, because where does it all start? And then, anyway, so I just had a thought to ask you that question. It doesn't describe that in this information part, but there are some books that, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's such a great book, and it went into all this detail of chakras. I have it at home. I want to call it, I think it starts with spirit something. But I'll get it for next time. It's such a great one just talking about emotions, everything that relates to each one. It's really, really great book. Reverend Marsha, do you know which one that one is by any chance? No. Anyway, okay, so the spleen chakra represents judgment in specialization, subdivision, and dispersion of vitality, which comes from us from the sun. This vitality pours out in 6 horizontal streams or 6 petals, parentheses, waves, all of different colors. This vitality is specifically radiant, glowing, and sunlight. red, orange, green, blue, and violet. The navel chakra represents strength and order and is located at the navel or solar plexus. This chakra vibrates to divide itself into 10 waves or petals. Feeling and emotions are associated with this chakra. The color is several shades of red and green. The heart chakra represents love at the heart and glows in golden color. The quadrants are divided into 3 parts that gives 12 waves or spokes. The throat chakra represents power and is located at the throat. This chakra has 16 spokes or 16 divisions of light blue color. The effect is silvery like moonlight upon rippling water and is blue and green. The brow chakra represents zeal, imagination, faith, will, and understanding, and is located between the eyebrows. This chakra seems to be divided into halves. One half is the rose color with yellow, and the second half is being a purplish blue. The 2 halves have 48 divisions that equal 96 parts. This is a big jump from 16. Why? The brow is where the seat of creativity is and the basis of mental phenomena. This is where metaphysics takes place. The crown chakra represents the I am, which is located at the top of the head. This chakra has the most brilliant shining light of all. This chakra is full of indispensable effects and vibrates with almost inconceivable rapidity. Like that. The crown chakra is violet in color and has 972 divisions. It has a central whirlpool of gleaming white light that is flush with gold in its heart. The crown chakra has activity, which has 12 waves that equal 972 divisions, which when added equals 9. If anybody's into numerology. This chakra is unlike any of the other chakras. As one develops the crown chakra, it becomes larger and spins faster. This chakra will cover the whole head when one becomes master of divine light. Receiving energy from the crown chakra leads to radiation of highly spiritual development. Happiness, health, and wealth is that radiation. Development of the chakras. Functions of the chakra when fully aroused is to bring down in physical consciousness whatever may be the quality inherent in the astral center which corresponds to it. What is the function of these centers? The root chakra energy, serpent fire, life of elimination, moves to the spleen chakra, judgment, vitalizes the whole body and enables the body into action. Then the energy from the spleen chakra moves to the navel and quickens the power of sensation, strength, order, and intuition. The heart chakra awakens the power to comprehend and sympathize with the vibration of other astral entities so one can instinctively understand their feelings. The throat chakra power allows one to hear on the astral plane, which is clairaudience. The brow chakra, clairvoyance, is astral sight, helps to perceive definitely the shape and nature of astral objects of our own mental and astral world, and assists in development of zeal, imagination, faith, will, and understanding. The crown chakra is the perfection of 12 powers. The pituitary gland is the direct link between the physical and spiritual planes with the pineal gland, quickening the connection with the lower mental to the spiritual direction. It is important to remember you develop this chakra to improve your health, happiness, and wealth. To know thyself is to know how you are, where you are, know where you are going now. And the chakras are not the organ itself. They are the extension of those organs. Through the development of these centers, we are whole. Meditation is a safe way to develop these chakras, and one needs to be in the presence of one who has developed these centers in their own being. When arousing the Kundalini energy, do with much caution. If done incorrectly, this energy will go through the whole body and physical, and mental injury can occur, which isn't really talked about very often. When the second spleen chakra is awakened, one is enabled to remember one's astral journeys of this or other lifetimes. And when the navel chakra awakens, discernment is aware of spiritual entities, both friendly and hostile. The crown chakra allows one to leave the body in full consciousness and return without usual break. If this does not happen all the time, it means you need more study and meditation in order to sustain. Do not become discouraged. One needs moral development until will is strong enough to control it. When thoughts are pure, you are able to face its awakening without injury. One should not develop without proper, definite instructions from one who thoroughly understands the subject. There are dangers, and physically this movement sometimes produces pain and tissue tear and mental injury. Prematurely, the energy pushes downward instead of upwards and excites undesirable passions. And that's talking about the Kundalini. It builds the passions up so much that one cannot resist. Sexual cravings, monsters of corruption, and being in touch with lower order of evolution. This is not an exaggeration. Black magic touches on this, and this energy intensifies everything in the person's nature. It reaches the lower qualities more readily than the good. When ambition is quickened, it arouses satanic pride, and that is another term of unhappiness, lack, and disease. If that pride is aroused naturally, consult one who understands these matters. Each person develops unique patterns, and to correct these patterns is different in each individual. Remember, if pride awakens, seek assistance. When that pride awakens, there is no exceptions about getting help. No one has the capability to develop this on their own. It would be like a person thinking one could conceive a child on its own. It makes you think that you are a victim. So understanding that is very important. And then the understandings of the development of chakras centers develop very naturally. When one develops spiritually, one has the ability to enhance this development. The information that is available in the infinite world, which is within, develops in our physical consciousness. The chakras not only receive, but give out information from the infinite world. Then we can go into the rays. That would be probably another day talking about rays. So we've got auras, chakras, rays. So
I know.
there's a book on this.
I want to ask a question. How many of you today feel like you're out of this world?
Specific out of this world.
I feel like I'm in between two planes, kind of, because I literally got off a plane. So I'm kind of like here, but then also having a deep imagination. And I get this rush of light when I'm with you guys, though. But that happens every time I'm with you guys. It feels happy.
Well,
Can you define out of this world, David?
they define out of this world as David J. Miller. And the thing is that each one of you are out of this world. And when you feel like you're out of this world, you are with it. And what's ever going on in your mind right now, pay attention to it, especially if it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my teachers have been telling me for years that when you don't understand what you're doing about, know that you are in knowledge, and that is being ignited. So pay attention to your intuition this like upcoming week, and if you feel that you're not with it, know that you are with it, and everything. And you don't have to prove that to anyone. The only one you prove it to is yourself. And you're on this path. Go and take a step that you haven't done before, and ask for the being within you to show the next step that I have not done before. And around you, people will say, "What are you doing?" when that comes up there, know that you are doing. And you are in that space. We spend so much time trying to be logical and perfect and everything. And the best way to be perfect is not to be perfect. I relate being perfect as going to the bathroom. Because if you go to the bathroom, you're not going to be too pleased with yourself.
This is interesting he's saying this because like I'm reading about the chakras and it's like, well, why don't we just close our eyes and find out what that is? You know, instead of like, so there's a thing about, you know, talking about the subjects or whatever. And these are great, you know, this is great information. David's written about these things that were, you know, what was that book from the chakra book? That really good one.
Ledbetter.
Ledbetter.
Yeah.
So there's someone by the name of Ledbetter, which is like, oh my gosh, I want to say 1900s, like early 1900s.
Right. Yeah.
And he learned from India. And then I want to say he's actually from India, and then they put it into English form.
Mhm.
So it's like the closest as far as information goes from India that we've found. And so a lot of this has to do with that. But at the same time, you know, like it's so good to have our books, right? It's so great. But who wrote those books? And how many thousands of years have we lived? Could have been us. Or even beyond that, you know? So like in the 1900s, but then in the 1800s, we wrote it again or talked about it, right? So like, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Reading an old book is just going back to yourself.
And that leads us to 25,000 years ago.
Thousands.
That is alive within you.
Thousands.
It's now start time to be reminded and start doing those things again.
Yeah, be the power of your amazing being self. It's already 10:39 and we could feel that amazingness in our meditation and bring it forward. Be it.
You see, when we were having this class, you know, I was in sort of a waze. And I can't explain the ways, you know, but I noticed the knowledge is being ignited, and that the next upcoming week, there's going to be things that I'm going to be doing that I'm not familiar with. But that's not going to stop me from not doing it. And I'm going to ask you all to do, when you're in this next week, and you're doing something you don't quite understand the fullness of it, keep on doing it. Because more of it's going to be given to you.
Action.
And you will find out in your actions, the three basic things that we are is happiness, health, and wealth. And that's a tremendous knowledge that I have.
Mm. Okay. All
And I
right.
feel much better now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And okay, Reverend Marsha.
Okay, as you become comfortable, let us concentrate on our breath. As this breath moves through the nostrils, it relaxes each muscle, nerve, and vessel in our being. This breath is what sustains you. It is the breath of life. Feel the relaxation that this breath brings to your being. As this breath moves gently in and around each part of our being, it turns into something very beautiful called love. You recognize this love as being alive and active with each breath. Just relax and recognize. As you exhale, you release physical toxins and negative attitudes you have toward yourself and all people concerned. Relax, recognize, and release. As you are releasing any toxins or negative attitudes, they are being dispersed into the I am. Gently allow this breath to settle into the feet area. This is the understanding part of our being. As you understand yourself, you understand the world you move in. Relax, recognize, and release. Feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leave as this breath moves to the ankles and up the legs. feeling any agitation and irritation being dissolved. Relax, recognize, and release. As this breath moves to the hip area, relax and release that which does not belong to you. The hips represent independent movement. You are now free to move in life and free to be you. Very gently, allow this breath to move to the base of the spine and the small of the back. Allow this breath to stay here for a few moments. This breath becomes stronger and stronger, for this is the strength area. Strength is confidence, security, and firmness. Now allow the breath to move up the spine. As this breath touches all vertebrae, muscles, and nerves, you feel enlightened, giving up the burdens that do not belong to you and taking care of what does belong to you. As this breath moves up the spine, you feel confident, secure, and firm. Relax, recognize, and release that which does not belong to you. As this breath touches the shoulders, feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leave. The shoulders represent responsibility in life. Know with each breath that you are doing your responsibility in life with freedom and ease. You also allow all others to do their responsibility with the same freedom and ease. Allow this breath now to move down the arms, relaxing, recognizing, and releasing. As this breath moves into your hands, relaxing your hands, you recognize that the hands are the giving and receiving part of our being. We give to receive, and we receive to give. As this breath is in the hands area, feel the breath that is between your hands and how good this breath feels. This goodness is you. You are extremely good. Take this goodness that is you and place it in the lower abdomen area. The greatest gift of all lies here, life. You are full of life, and life is full of you. Life is happiness, health, and wealth. You eliminate all that hinders you from life, and you recognize order in your life. Order is the adjusting of all mind powers moving in a harmonious manner in life. Very gently now, allow this breath to move to the stomach area. The stomach is the judgment area. Let us fully and freely release all mistakes in judgment we have made that have led to mistaken action. Replace with correct judgment that leads to correct action. Relax, recognize, and release. Feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leave, allowing this breath to move to the heart area. The heart is the love area of our being. With each beat of the heart, love moves to every part of our body. We radiate this love, and wherever we go, this radiance is felt, and the universe gives back to you this radiance. Relax, recognize, and release. Very gently, allow this breath to move to the throat area. The throat is the power area in life. You are in command of your life, and you are at ease with that command. Relax, recognize, and release. Very gently allow this breath to move to the back of the head and to the very crown of your head. From the tips of your toes to the crown of your head, you are relaxing, recognizing, and releasing. As you are in this relaxed state, think, feel, or see yourself walking down a path. You feel the path beneath your feet. You notice the grass that lines this path. You notice the sun twinkling through the trees that also line the path. As you walk down this path, there is a gentle breeze that touches your body. This is the breath of life. It allows you to take the next step in knowing yourself. As you walk down this path, there is a clearing in front of you. As you walk into the clearing, the softness of the grass touches your feet. Knowing that you are very protected, you walk toward a body of water that is crystal clear and warm to your touch. You notice there are also paths that lead away from the clearing. If you choose to, you may walk to the body of water. You may go into the water, submerging completely, breathing freely and all organs functioning properly, knowing that you are very protected. If you choose to, you may lay beside the water, absorbing the 4 elements, the sun, water, air, and earth. Or you may choose to explore the paths. Feel free to explore. I leave you now for your exploration. very gently now, wherever you are, remembering all you have seen, sensed, felt, or heard, you notice your healing breath. Your healing breath expands to each and every one, and we become one healing breath. One healing breath. We direct this breath to the healing box and to all those transitioning into and out of this world, all the institutes of health, that peace is the journey and the destination. We direct this breath to those affected by the winds, the rain, the snows, the fires, and the movement of the earth, that they are protected and healed. As you are aware of your healing presence, you move along your path, noticing anything that has changed, moved, or taken away. As you become aware of yourself, coming back to where you are seated, your mental and physical consciousness is becoming aware, remembering all you have seen, felt, and heard. And when your mental and physical consciousness is fully aware, feeling very refreshed, alert, and keen, open your eyes.
Thank you, Reverend Marcia. All righty then. Who would like to go first? Go for it, Casey.
I'll go first. And my son's coming out in 5 minutes. I went to the water and I went and I allowed myself to sink into the water. And as I got deeper and deeper into the water, it got darker and darker, but it wasn't scary. It was more like I was in my mom's womb, that very safe feeling. And then a very clear message came through that when you meditate and when you rest, properly rest, both of those things are important. The meditation, a white light comes through, and we're like a prism that the rainbows shoot through our chakras. That white light turns into the color through our body. Just like that Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. You see that light and then the rainbow shoots through. And we don't need to understand it. It just is. That's what I got.
Okay. So good. Thank you. Lady J.
Well, I went into the water also. In fact, I looked at the paths and I thought, well, why would I want to go any further? It's kind of a strange, I never thought that before. Anyway, I had a little trouble staying on topic, but I got a lot of just hits here and there. The thing that I didn't think about was what Reverend Marcia had said about that all the chakras are in every one of our cells. That makes us a hologram. And I had never thought about that before, and I kind of thought what came to me was sort of that at any one point in time, some cells can be affected, but others can't, and that doesn't affect the whole. Usually we think any part of it affects the whole, but you know, I'm just thinking of my cancer. I mean, it's in one spot in my body and it hasn't affected the whole, and I'm grateful for that. So, and my chakras can be, I don't look at the colors so much. I don't look at the colors at all, but I do look at their balanced or faded or super active or whatever. And that doesn't seem, that happens about life, not about the specifics of what's going on in my world. Anyway, it was very enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie.
Well, it was very nice. I went into the water and just sat and relaxed for a little while. And then I kind of checked in on the chakras. I thought, well, here we are, we're chakra day. So sort of checked in each of the chakras. And then I could sort of imagine a string going down into the earth from the lowest one all the way through my chakras, way up high. And it was almost as if it was the two bodies, the physical body and the etheric body, just superimposed on top of one another. And then it was just healing. And it was just a reminder, because I tend to be busy, and don't give enough time to sitting, listening to the body, recentering, being grateful for everything I have, and just being quiet. So it just said, take time more often, even just 5 minutes, to sit and remember the body and nurture it, and nurture the mind, and nurture the emotions. So it was very pleasant. It
So,
was me.
so good.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Thank you. Reverend Marsha, did you want to say anything on that? Being you were doing the speaking, but sometimes when we're speaking, you still get, you know.
Yeah, I think for myself today, this class, and talking about our energy and our chakras, and talking about having a safe person to study with, it really took me back to over 20 years ago when I first came to the chapel, and I was one scared puppy. I mean, I really I just knew that these entities that were around me were going to just take me one day and I would disappear. I was very, very frightened. And when Reverend David during meditation really helped me to feel like I was in a safe space. And I think that it just made me realize how far I've come in over 2 decades now, that I'm no longer that scared puppy. And for me, that is huge spiritual development for me. I know that I have a long way to go and a lot to learn, and I, that's why I continue to come to this class every week and continue to develop. But all of these things, taking all of these little pieces and then putting them together to become happier and healthier and wealthier in life, is just a real treasure. It's a real gift. And so I'm very grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Marsha. Thank you. Reverend David.
Well, the only thing I can relate to what we are doing is that we are developing. Every time you have a day that you don't know what in the world you've done, know that you've done the whole world, and you're in that world, and you're expressing the knowledge that you have. So just stay there and keep on doing. Dr. Beck would say, keep on doing. He told me that for many years. So keep on doing, because we're there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
For myself, I experienced when we were talking about the heart area, that just, wow, that was like, I was in that for this immense a part of this whole, meditation part. I was really in there. But then when we got to the water, talking about the water, I did just like Casey. It was really interesting, Casey, when you said it. I was like, it changed the color and it was just like the womb. And I was feeling it just like the womb. And then as I was down there, I had this, in a quick nutshell, I had a past life that I experienced recently. And I was a map maker in Atlantis. And so I was there, and the part about me on that was that I was able to go underwater without breathing. And so when I was in this water, I was breathing freely and I was communicating with others in the water. And so anyone that has moved on in the spirit world, I was having conversation and I was in that love space. So thank you. And isn't it just amazing how it's just great to hear when someone else is experiencing something very similar? It's like, yes, of course we will.
I got goosebumps and my eyes just are watering heavily right now. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really neat how everyone, has something sort of similar whenever we're in a group like setting. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to also just say to Lady J that you mentioned your health experiences that you're going through right now, and you and I are kind of going through some similar experiences with that regard. And I know for me, it's opened my eyes in a lot of different ways, and it's also reminded me to continue to tell myself that I have eliminated the power of elimination, mind power of elimination, that is all eliminated from my body, and I'm replacing with all healthy, vibrant cells that and starting to experience some of my physical energy coming back, and and all of that type of thing. So it's been more of a challenge lately to stay focused that way, but I continually remind myself. But I think of you very often, of you going through a similar experience health-wise that I have been. So
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it.
Super love. And Reverend Marcia, I found my meditation right after you were done.
of course.
Right? All I did was close the book and it's right there. I'm like,
Divine order.
right? Like, okay, Reverend Marcia is to do.
There was something in seminary that we had been taught to, like, always come prepared because somebody might ask you to do something. So
right?
I've got my folder.
And it happens. Like Reverend David said, you don't have your da-da-da with you? Why not? It was just like, oh, okay. Everyone comes with their books and ready to go, and right? He taught us well. He definitely did. And I mean, to this day, for everything, I make sure. So that was very strange. I was like, where is this thing? It was here earlier. Go figure. Thank you for doing that. I'm really, really grateful. All right, so next week we're going to continue. This is a little bit longer, so we'll continue on with the rays. And so you'll see the patterns of, and like we were talking about, you could go to YouTube and see the priors if you feel like connecting with that. And that way you can see aura, chakras, rays as the, pattern. It really is very helpful. And then we were just in some of those 12 powers. So that's involved, like it was mentioning it in there. If you didn't hear that, specific mind power section, because we were in mind power section, and then we went into those 3 that I'm talking about now. And then we go back to the rest of the 12 powers. So anyway, there's a pattern. All right.
Well,
yes. Everyone have a beautiful rest of the weekend, and we will catch up next weekend. We'll say our gratitude, and thank you for being a part of this special space.
Thank you.
Mother, Father, God, we give gratitude and thank yous for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and through us as we go on our path. So when we meet those on our passage, we share the love that is so abundant. And we give thanks for this day. Amen.
Amen. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Have a good time, everybody.
Yes, you too.
Bye,
Thank
Jackie.
you,
Bye,
Joy.
Lady
Bye.
J. Bye.
Enjoy.
Bye, everybody.